And then there's
Mm.
this one that you see that, okay, these people are like ready to spend, and you
And
just
and the way you are saying it is as if they didn't lose someone, you know. So that's what I
yeah,
always look at. Like at the end of the day, marketing is marketing. It is the practice, and you are selling.
yeah, true, because the
Mm,
point of it all is to sell and make sales.
mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So I also sometimes wonder, like, when the owner prays to God, like, I want my business to prosper. Does he say, like, I want people to die?
I can you are taking this too far.
No, I sometimes think about it.
I do understand. For example, you mentioned COVID-19. For some, COVID-19 was actually a good business because there was more, more
Yes,
services needed for funerals. Think about in Italy or in Spain where there were like 700 deaths per year. There was that time where COVID hit hard and people were grieving. So I
yes,
don't know if there are notable profits from that, but yeah, of course, a business is a business. When someone is praying for a business to boom, it means that sales have to be generated.
yes. I think also Tobile is doing a very good job. I'm convinced. I also want that one, that casket. I'm convinced.
She needs to
you
give
want
us a
to come
discount for
spend.
the class.
Yes.
I also don't do discounts, eh? I don't do discounts because by the time they're like, yeah, it's nice, but you must give us a discount. I already tell them, that's this package is already discounted because in actual fact you were supposed to pay for a grey fee, which is 7,000 rand, and a grey fee is not even 7,000 rand; it's 2,524 rand. So you've already been discounted because the boss has decided they're gonna pay the grey fee for you. So do you want to pay a grey fee and then we give you a discount of 1,000 rand? And you're like, I know it's fine, it's fine. Like, okay, now
Yo,
let's continue.
Shamira boss.
But it is how it is. One or the other, we are animals, and it's the survival of the fittest. The same way that can you say that? So how do you pray for the business? Think about it this way. Do you know that someone is waiting for a relationship to end so that they can get that woman or that man?
Yeah, true.
Yes.
They're
Always.
actually praying for it. They're actually praying for it. Lord, please bless me with a woman. And at this moment, it's someone's woman.
Yeah.
And even this diploma that you guys are doing, what if it was meant for someone and you got someone's place, enrollment's place? You would never know. So if you think about it deeper, you can actually be sad the whole day.
Yeah, true.
All right, guys, welcome to lesson 50, where we are going to continue with strategy formulation, acquisition, and retention. And we need to have some more engagement on a case study. We are going to look at ShopRite. You guys know that ShopRite does not have e-commerce service. Do you know that?
Yes. It
What I
does.
Yes,
mean is
we are
that
aware.
with ShopRite, you cannot go to their website. They might have a website, they might have social media pages, but you cannot go there and process a transaction like buy something there, then it gets delivered. It should then be e-commerce. So they do not have any transactional services. So now they've decided to offer online shopping and deliveries for its customers, which is something tricky because in real life they would never do that. Why do you think in real life they would never do that?
With
Now in terms, do you mean in terms of the customers, the ShopRite customers?
In terms of ShopRite itself, why do you think it won't follow Checkers with Checkers 6060? Why do you think it won't follow Pick and Pay with ASAP? Why do you think it won't follow Woolies with Dash? Why do you think it won't follow Spar with Spar to you?
I think it's because remember, most ShopRites are located in rural areas and locations where um people are not so wealthy, like they are not financially stable. I don't know how to put it, but their finances are not as good. That's why even the tagline for Shoprite, it says lowest prices for everyone. So you can't. I think because they already have priced their products so low, having to tell them that now you will have to add a thingy, a delivery fee for them, it'll be like, oh, but you know so I'm thinking that's the reason why they will never have a delivery service or offer a delivery service because of its target market.
Okay, what else, guys?
Yes, ShopRite, it targets the lower class um people, especially in the economy. Because so yeah, they won't be able to do that because also when you look at their target audience, there are people who don't actually use technology like that, like how we use technology. And also with Woolies, it caters for the upper class, people with money, um, but not really upper class, like middle class, because I feel like Woolies
Mm,
and Checkers is the same standard.
Okay,
yeah,
what
I
else?
agree with Kanye's statement.
So there are so many reasons that we can discuss for the whole night, guys. Also think about the locations where ShopRite, shops are. It would be impossible, honestly, to have deliveries there, considering the crime in this country. I've never seen a ShopRite supermarket in an affluent suburb. So mostly you'd find, for example, in Alex, you get a ShopRite supermarket. Do you think deliveries will be fluent there without a bike driver being robbed and something like that?
No, they wouldn't. They definitely would not.
Mm. And also, I think Google Maps hasn't got it right yet in informal segments. Locations. I've
Now
heard
that you
several
mentioned
times.
informal settlements,
Pardon?
yeah, I'm saying now that you even mentioned informal settlements, yeah, no, it will
Mm.
be way too difficult for them to deliver there. It will be a struggle.
Otherwise, you have to put a nearby school or a nearby clinic, a nearby church, something that is being picked up on Google Maps, because obviously I don't think shacks, not in a bad way, I don't think shacks can be picked up on Google Maps because they don't have any address. It's not like number 5, 11th Street and so forth. It's an informal settlement.
True, sir.
But anyway, regardless of that, let's say they decide to go online. Identify the digital marketing strategy and grouped according to whether they support acquisition, conversion, and retention. So looking at the current setup right now, who would you target online for ShopRite? Remember, digital marketing strategy is also called channel strategy. So what social media platforms would you use and who would you target?
I would use Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and I would target mostly the youth. And the reason why I'm saying the youth is because the youth is mostly on social media, and they're always fighting to have smartphones. So I think probably people between the ages of I'd say maybe 18 and 50 maybe they would be the target market because they are on social media. My mom is even
But
on
do you
social
think,
media.
okay, I do understand with the target audience, but I do quite not don't understand with their interest in ShopRite. So do you think they would then be interested in ShopRite?
Most definitely they will be interested in ShopRite, based on their location, and also
Okay.
the fact that they, like we said earlier, that ShopRite offers lower prices.
Mm.
Yeah.
Kanye, do you have anything to say?
So I would also use Facebook and WhatsApp. So with WhatsApp, I would send like catalogs to them. And yeah, the age group would be, for me, I would choose 20 to 40 or 25 to 40 because those are people who are working and who can buy actually.
All right. Okay. Uh for me, the target would be the same that Toby identified the youths, but the reason would be different. So I would use the youths, especially those from a younger age. Remember, youth is between 18 to 34. But I would prefer those who are 18 to 21 or so. I would use them as a communication bridge to reach out to their parents. So, the moment someone says Shopra to me, I'm sensing a SASA grant. I'm sensing this because it's lower prices. So it means that the youths can then reach out to their grandparents because one or the other, we are grandkids to someone out there. Then tell them like, oh, Coco, I saw this promotion on Facebook. Can you please consider going and buying them? Would this be realistic, guys, or is it just a dream?
It will be realistic because also I remember with me at home, my grandmother on a Friday, if we knew that that weekend or the Saturday would have to go buy groceries, that Friday or that week, my grandmother would collect like newspapers, because remember
Mm,
newspapers often come with promotions, like maybe like ShopRite or Pick and Pay,
yes.
and then we'd sit that Friday late and mark where we can get maybe sunlight lesser between ShopRite and Pick and Pay, and then we'd mark it. And so because now everything is digitized, I think then it would lessen the stress of having to get those newspapers, or those newspapers where we had to do it the old way. We can just look on into the grandchild will just look over to the phone, and then we'll ask grandmother to just give the money and go buy.
And Shoprite is actually doing good with that, having those online catalogs, with promotions. They do that on their social media accounts.
Yeah.
So the
Yes.
fact that they do not have, e-commerce doesn't mean that they do not have digital marketing strategies, guys. Okay, that's brilliant. Then how would you make sure that there's retention? Because retention, guys, it's very difficult to measure, especially knowing that there are multi-channel strategies. You come up with a campaign, an online campaign, and you do not have e-commerce there, meaning that even if people are exposed to your content, they have to physically go to the shops to buy. So how would you see that these people are coming back to buy because they saw our catalog online? Because one or the other, you need to measure your campaign. You need to see the return on investment on how much you are spending on those campaigns.
So we would use pixels, and also those smart shopper cards.
Yes, yes, smart shopper cards.
So,
Yes,
yes, so when
correct.
somebody buys, then I think we can use that to measure. If maybe, for
Mm.
example, they said if Jacobs is 120, it's 130, 130, but only if you have a smart shopper card. So you would be able to measure like that if somebody has used their card or not.
Oh, that's very correct. That's brilliant. Though that one is also not accurate, but it always works well because sometimes you can realize that this person, especially if you want to build a profile from people's usage of loyalty, programs like a smart card, as you are mentioning, you realize that on the queue, that card can be used by 3 or 4 customers. How many
True.
times have you asked from a card from someone else because you left yours home, or you
Mm,
just want to take advantage of that promotion? If you get what I mean, we have
yes.
done that several times. So it's difficult then to then build an accurate, profile of that customer, especially their spending behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something good that you can build a foundation to map and know that every month these are the items that they get.
Yes.
You
And
know,
also
and they.
they
Mhm.
I'm so sorry. And also they said there's this thing called pixels. but I just don't know how it works. But it's pixels. It measures like after you have completed the funnel and you got to the consideration, and when you go to the store, there's a pixel that measures if you have made a purchase or what.
How do you spell it?
Um, I think it's Pixel.
A pixel isn't for the image measurement.
No, I'll just find out more information about it, sir.
Okay,
But
because I also want to do.
uh,
I know I always love it when I come across interesting stuff. Okay, I just jotted it here. I'm also going to find out how it works. Maybe it's also going to work for me at work. You never know.
yes,
And companies actually struggle, guys, to measure, especially when something is completely offline, but you've got online campaigns for it. Sometimes you see that after doing something, when you are joining a gym or when you are joining a church or even a new job, when you are filling the forms, they'll say, "How did you hear about us?" Have you come across that?
yes, sir.
Then
Even
all of a
when
sudden there's a drop
you're
down, like, did you hear us from Google search or from
mm,
someone else from Facebook? So they compile all those reports. So if, for example, out of the 500, let's say it's a gym, out of the 500 new memberships, and they are saying that they heard from Facebook. So now the digital marketing personnel, they need to understand that our information is going out effectively on Facebook. So we need to capitalize on Facebook. So those retention insights or acquisition insights can actually tell you on which platform must you keep investing in and which platforms must you discard it all, because at the end of the day, you are also spending money on these. Makes sense, right?
yes, sir. It does make sense.
All right. So these are the insights that you need to use, the one that we discussed in the previous lesson, like how can they have a digital marketing strategy based on objectives? How can they be consistent since they are communicating with the lower class people? Their messaging must always, resonate with people from those areas. Even the customer agenda they have, the strategy must support it. It has to be unique, like having some you save messaging, or it also need to maintain the online customer life cycle and so forth. So you'd realize that even customers that even brands that are targeting that have got customers who are barely online, the ones that I would call digital refugees. Remember, guys, we discussed about immigrants, natives, and refugees. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Mm. So there are organizations, for example, brands that sell wheelchair for the senior citizens, the very elderly who are fragile, or that sells walking sticks. You know for sure that it's rare to find an 8-year-old Mkulu or Gogo being on social media platforms. Yet they are promoting their products there. Do you think they're doing something wrong, guys, by having digital platforms when their target audience is completely offline?
No, I don't think they are doing something wrong, sir. I think I'd go back to what you said, the point that you made that um you would still promote online, even though you know that the target market is not online, because then they are grandchildren. You made something
Mm,
about their grandchildren. So obviously, I,
yes.
I might have a grandmother who needs a wheelchair, and
Mm,
she's not on social media, of course, but because I am aware of it and I would love my grandmother to have that wheelchair,
mm,
where else am I gonna see it? I will see it online. So
mm.
it's so basically I'm like the middle person to pass on the message to my grandmother, or rather even think that my grandmother needs that, and we make a way of her getting it.
That's very true. And also, most of these, because they are frail, like they are old, you realize that decisions are also made by their children who would actually be online, like whether they like it or not. you end up getting a wheelchair for them because maybe they've got dementia, they've got conditions that they cannot independently make decisions on their own. And sometimes I've also come across this. We are actually being forced by our parents or our grandparents to be online. How many times, if there's load shedding, for example, your mom will be like, "Oh, Toby, can you please use your app to order McDonald's via this and that?" You know, so she wants you to be active in that digital platform, even if you don't want to at that time. So she knows that you are always hanging out there. You know, how many times would you hear someone, "Can you please check for me on Facebook, you young kids, kuthiwa lina abasakhulayo, ngicela nibhekele ku-Facebook ukuthi yini ethengiswayo." They even know that there are platforms, but they just don't want to be there, so they want you to do on their behalf.
Yeah, they even go as far as, you are better with this technology thing. I trust you. My mom even calls me her PA. She's like, you are my PA, man. That I'm
That's very
yeah.
true. That's very true. So the brains that engage with your mom, they also need to understand that, without you as a channel, they cannot reach your mom. So that's why these brands with offline target audience, they still have their presence online. Okay, any questions, guys? Because this was just a case study, applying what we learned in lesson 49.
No
No
question.
question from my side, so.
All right, now, so we're looking at strategy formulation. Now we are going to go deeper and look at the decisions that needs to be taken when formulating a strategy. And these things are more like what I call revision, because we've already done this. But now, how we are discussing them is that we are linking them to strategy formulation. For example, we discussed market and product development through the ENSOF grid. Okay, so now uh, our discussion will be based on how then do we need to consider, the market and product development and diversification when formulating a strategy. How do you need to consider the business models, the B2B, the B2C, the C2C that we discussed earlier? How do they play a role um, in strategy formulation? That's what we are going to be looking at in the next lesson. Okay, guys, I'm just